can't put her finger in the trigger. It won't do right. That's bullshit.
Hey, welcome back, fellow collectors, to Brave's Toy Review. I am your host, Brave, and today we are taking a look at Xtransbots Master Series MX286 Swarm Leader Andras, which is just a fancy way of saying Scourge. Okay, so I got my Scourge from the Chosen Prime. Hey, shout out to the Chosen Prime. If you got any needs for some plastic crack, check out thechosenprime.com. They've got you covered. So I'm not sure how other people send them shipped, but mine's came in this nifty little plastic sealant here with the nice Xtransbot sticker right there. I'm pretty sure that's on all packaging because it says Xtransbots, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Chosen Prime is doing a little extra for you. I think they are. The packaging was pretty nice when they shipped it. So yeah, check that out. Just one thing to note. Here's a look at his box art. The box itself is fucking huge, right? But it's not as wide as what we saw with Apollyon, but still it's pretty damn big. Really nice artwork on the front of Andras here. It says at the bottom that's Andras' name and all of that crap. On this side, it's got some really dope detailing. He who fears is... Wait a minute, can I get out? Can I get some of that? Oh my god, my dog is farting. On the back it says, he who fears is already extinct. Ooh, that's so omnious. Omnious, yes, that's the word, omnious. And on the back here, we can see Apollyon facing off against some forthcoming Autobots from them, as well as old sorry-ass Ollie back there. Yeah, so, yeah. And at the bottom here, you get a tech specs. Yeah, yeah. Let's get on to the real deal. So here he is in his boat mode out of the box, right? It comes in boat mode with some nice wrapping around it. It's not like saran wrapped or anything like that. It's pretty loose, but still, it's just to protect the plastic and all of that. And then, of course, you get his little gun partner here in gun mode. These things here, these little caps here go on the back of these rocket things. They're always popping off. Each one has an individual light, which I have not put batteries in for. I never really do that, except for on Tyrant, and we'll get to him in the next review. But that's one. That'll be the first figure I've ever actually put the light functions on, and that's because it was just so simple to do it. He also comes with this nifty little stand here and this base part here, which is already wrapped in some plastic for you as well to keep it protected and all that good stuff. And you just assemble it by putting that little piece on there like so. And now your boat is ready to be pegderized. And then you can just put your landing gear away like that. Under the bottom here, there's a little pegs. There's a little slot there, which is spring loaded. And then you have a few pegs here. One peg is for the boat mode, flying boat mode. The other peg is for robot mode, most likely. I don't really look at the directions on this guy. I didn't feel no need to. No need to look at directions. And there you go. Ha ha! He's all ready to go. He's flying in the air. He's a boat in the sky. Check him out. And then you have these little things here, and I guess maybe I should look at the directions to find out what those are for, huh? Speaking of directions, put it to the side. Xtransbots is ever trying to make things right to rectify the horrible mess that was Apollyon, whom we all love and care for. So what did they send you? They send you this little nifty blue thing here. That blue thing there. which is and it says nicely. And this is pretty cool because sometimes when third-party companies send you their extras or replacement parts, they don't really tell you what it is. You just got to figure it out, or you hear word of mouth. But this is a Polyon's mace weapon connector. That's what that is, and it connects his mace weapon because that's what that is. They send you this nifty little screwdriver right here, which in itself is just great. And then they send you some more cups, and I'm assuming that's for Apollyon because it obviously is not for him, and it's not for Galvatron. And Apollyon needs as many of these as you can get. I would start collecting these because I had an extra pair. I put it on them. Arms were still flopping later on. I modded them, and I think that helped it to give way. So put the tight ones on and give it some time to work to loosen up on its own, right? And that way your Apollyon will be secure. He also comes with, not Apollyon, but Andras. He also comes with his collector card. And that's a pretty good quality. Never let it be said that that Xtransbots doesn't put quality in their collector card. That's a really nice collector card, nice and stiff. And it's got his little story and shit, and I'm not going into all of that. Cool job. And then here is his manual, which has like another depiction of the box art all over it there, and in the inside you can see the transformation, and you can roll it all the way to the back, and then you see another collection of other stuff they have coming soon. Kind of looking forward to the to Arcos or whatever his damn name is. I kind of skipped out on Boost. I am looking forward to Elegos, which is their Cyclonus. I'm looking forward to that guy because, I don't know, I'm a glutton for punishment. My gun thing is already kind of falling apart there. Let's take him off. And this guy just goes on via that little slot right there and this little funny peg here. And it's kind of deformed because it was inside of the box deal there. So whoopity-doo. Let's get him back in his correct mode and go through the transformation for you. Just taking a good look at Rimfire here. He's actually pretty good. He's a pretty good target master. I actually like this guy. The gun mode is kind of sucky bally. It's just, it doesn't really look like any kind of gun I've ever seen, but it's not so bad. There are these little pegs under here, under the base of the leg, that allow me to plug in his hands to keep those kind of in position when he's in his gun mode. It still kind of moves around a bit. The gun mode to me is not very solid, but it looks pretty good. Looks pretty decent. To transform him out of his gun mode, just unpeg the hands there. Bring him out to the side like that. Fold up his ab crunch, which is there, which will bring the base of the weapon, if you can see it, into this slot there. Cool. Legs come down, rotate those all the way out, and spin those around like that. Feet come up. He's got a heel spur. Oh, wow, he's got a heel spur. That's pretty dope, right? For a freaking target master. This, the barrel of the weapon is on the sliding deal here. Just slide that in, fold that down, and now here you have Rimfire. And he looks pretty dope. For a target master, which you target masters usually suck, he looks really good. Let me get a target master to go side by side with him so you can see what I'm talking about. And here he is next to Carrie's target master, and that's a pretty good scale there. Even though Carrie is DX9, and this guy is Xtransbots, but that's a really good scale. Now I do have MP09's target master somewhere, and he's a little bit shorter than these guys. And I am on record as saying that I like this guy better than the MP09 target master, but I like this guy better than the DX9 target master. So, think about that. So he's basically black in mold except for the upper chest part, which is more so gray throughout. You have some black here where the cups are for the ball, which for the ball joints is really articulated. He has a soft ratchet here on the shoulders and then going into a ball here with the swivel. So that's really dope. Double articulation at the elbows with pins there. The head is on a rotating swivel there. And then you've got the knees on the ball joint there. And then you have the feet on a hinge here, and then a swivel because of the pin there in the back. So he's a really articulated target master. I really like this guy. Nice detail in the chest, some lines there. Then the paint on the face, a little splash of red with yellow on his goggles or on his lenses there. Makes it really stand out. As target masters go, you can definitely get worse. So if Xtransbots ever decide to go strictly into the target master game, they might win. Yeah. Here's the issue with this guy. The plastic is really, really shiny, and I think that's the only drawback. If the plastic used or the overall paint finish was more just of a dry base, it would look a lot better because he would look more menacing, right? It has like a cheap look to it just because it's so plasticky, but it doesn't feel cheap. It's really solid the way it pegs in. So that's where it kind of the look kind of separates from the actual feel. The major thing here is there is a lot of paneling with this transformation, and most collectors, if not many collectors, are not fans of the whole panel transformation. But I will give credit in that they make a pretty simple and routine transformation a little more interesting. And there's some really nice work done to this as far as the line work, the way it looks. I think the major issues with this guy come into when you start having to unpeg things or peg things, move things around here and there. And then, of course, the feet, which we'll get into. Okay, so you have these three pieces here, which act as lights. They have each individual switches on them. You take these out and you put the batteries in and out or whatever the case is. I haven't done that. I don't intend on doing that. So yeah, if you want to take advantage of the throwback to the animation, to the cartoon in the movie, whereas his head pops up, the directions tell you just to lift this whole area up because it's on a sliding thing here, a little base sliding pipe pole or whatever you want to call it there. But it's kind of hard to get your thumbs up in there. So what I do is I separate what will become the forearms, and I just that damn these things. I just take my thumb, put it in there, and I just kind of push it up, right? And then you take this steel here and you just work it on down. And then you can put these back in place, put these guys back in place. And there you have his head sticking out the top of the boat. Now, I thought that was silly even in the cartoon movie and in the cartoon, but hey, who am I to tell you to not put your head up? Keep your head up. Keep your head up, right? I don't hate this. There's a lot of hate for this guy, but I don't think he's that bad, man. Your little landing gear that works. You roll it down, put it down, and it rolls pretty decently. What I never got was the whole boat mode deal with this guy. But at the same time, you had Galvatron, who was the bad guy, who also had his own little weird alt mode. So yeah, whatever. So that's his boat mode there, or whatever the case is. Let's take a look at the actual bot, and we'll get into the transformation at the end of all this. I just want to kind of go through some things right quick. He's got articulated fingers, which is great. I am a fan of articulated fingers in some cases. In some cases, I am not. You've got the swivel here at the bicep. You've got double articulation here at the elbows. You got the shoulder here on a hinge as well as a soft ratchet swivel deal there. You got the head on a swivel because of that little mechanism that allows it to slide up and down. Inside the chest here, you can open it up and you can take a matrix and you can just drop it down inside of there, which is cool. And I think the matrix that comes, let's make sure right quick, because I want to say the matrix that comes with Tyrant would fit inside of there. Let's see about it. So this is the matrix that comes with Tyrant, which is pretty cool. We're not going to get into it right now. It does not fit in there. It's way too big to go inside of there. So that's obviously made for the matrix that comes with MP10, which is, cool. It could also probably work. You put these little flaps open. I think it could also work with the one that comes with the DX9, but I'm not going to go into that right now. Right here is the plasma key, you just flip this down, and there's the plasma key, and he can take the plasma key and he can do stuff with it. Give it to Galvatron or some shit. It's not coming off, so I don't know if it goes off or not. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to play around too much with that. So yeah, cool. All right, so where are we at now? He has a waist swivel there, and then he has articulation on the a nice ratchet there on his swivel at the hip, and then he has a thigh swivel there at the top, which is cool. And then he has nice double articulated at the knees and a nice ratchet in what seems to be the bottom portion. It's a damn ratchet in somewhere in there. Yeah, at the bottom portion here. Cool. And then he has these John Travolta heel spurs. And he's got these Saturday Night Fever John Travolta heel spurs, right? This is really funny, dude. I love these things right here, dude. So that gives him a good bit of he's got a really nice rocker. I mean, like a really deep rocker. However, I don't know how to hold under the pressure of the splits, right? Because they're not on a ratchet or anything. So let's see how do they hold. And I don't think they're gonna hold too well under a deep split, not at all. But you can get your little side motion. See, the hard part here is that there's not really a ratchet here and there's not a ratchet there, right? So when you start getting a little bit too wide, it kind of gives under the weight of the wings here. And so those, well, that's holding pretty good, but typically those ankle rockers, they won't hold if you spread out too far. But that's pretty good. That's a really good A stance. I don't know if you want to spread them out that freaking far, but you can get some pretty good stance out of him. So look if he wants to hit the if he wants to hit the Saturday Night Fever pose. There you go. And of course, once you put your batteries in his head there, they'll light up and that'll make everything look nice and his eyes will be shining. So that's really cool. Face sculpt wise, face sculpt isn't too bad. I mean, it's really kind of dead on. He looks a little chubby in the cheeks, which is kind of what Scourge did look like anyways. He's got the beard is wrong though, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. I had to look online and see. I think that beard is kind of wrong. But still, I mean, it's third party figure. It's not supposed to be exact, right? So yeah, there you go. Now, the wings are the major drawback to this figure, of the major drawbacks. They do a good job as far as incorporating all of these different panels into the actual wing portions of the transfer of the bot mode. And you got a hinge here on these, a nice ratcheted hinge, so that's pretty cool. This portion right here is kind of irritating. It's more on a hinge, on an outward hinge, and it's just kind of irritating. It really is. The actual wings, though, they're on a hinge here. They're also on a, get this crap out the way. They're on a hinge here, which gives you up and down motion. Then you got a hinge there, which closes it up, right? So that gives you a pretty decent amount of motion. But it's just a lot to contend with when you're dealing with the bot mode. And this plastic is kind of, like, I've cut myself here already. It's kind of sharp, to be honest with you, so be careful. This guy is kind of dangerous. Little kids should not handle this. Little kids should not watch my review, but little kids before not watching my review should not handle this. So if you're going to let little kids do anything, let them watch my review, but don't let them handle this thing because they could get plastic cuts. And then this is a portion of the transformation here. You'll see where this kind of tucks in here. And I wish they would have found something different to do with that because it's just kind of in the way. Like, it's not horrible, but it's in the freaking way. I don't like it. But other than that, bot mode's pretty decent. It's a lot of blue. A whole lot of blue. Like, you thought that buzzing had, not buzzing, I'm sorry. You thought that overclocking, you see where my brain is at. You thought overclocking had a lot of blue. This is an extreme amount of blue. Now, they do use different blues throughout here and there to kind of break up the monotony of it. So you got a dark blue here, a darker blue there, light blue here, dark blue there, which is kind of a metallic deal there on the chest. But it's just a lot of blue. And what are you going to do? Because the character was blue. What are you going to do, man? But again, I think the shiny coat, waxy coat over it is what really just drives you crazy. You got a little bit of red here and the pink on the nails, which is kind of, I thought that was kind of funny about this character. And then the red here, which kind of stand out amongst all of this blue and gives it a little more character. a little dark blue down here. It helps out. It helps out to break up all of this freaking blue. But overall, the line work is pretty decent. The character's pretty solid. He stands pretty strong. The wings are irritating as hell, but you got a great amount of detailed lines inside of the wings. And if you want to take like a dry brush and just go over some of it, that would make those wings really pop. And I would also say if you want to take like a toothbrush and some soapy water, just a little bit of soapy water, and go over the top of that, that should take a little bit of the shine away here. It takes a little bit of the wax off of it, right? Or that waxy feel, which would then take off some of that shine. So those are some things that I would offer as far as advice as improving the figure. Also got some red here on the toe. I might have left that out. So for scale, let's stand him up next to Skywarp. For all those that want to give me a little bit of trouble online this weekend, I did my little post. For anyone who doesn't know, I was doing a sale post, and I was putting this guy up for sale. And I did it over my phone, and there was like an autocorrect deal. So when I put in MP, typically I was putting Thundercrackers. I was searching for Thundercracker, and I was texting me about Thundercracker. So when I put in MP, Thundercracker came up automatically, even when I was typing Skywarp, and it came up. It went in there, and I didn't even notice it, and people gave me a hell of a time. Because nothing is forgiving online, so I had a good time with that. But here he is side by side with MP Skywarp, and you can see he's just a little bit taller than Skywarp. So that's not too bad. I think he should be because he's supposed to be. The score just should be a little more intimidating than the actual Seekers were. So that's that. And then here he is next to KFC Transistor, and Transistor is a good bit larger than him. He's maybe half a head. It looks like he's half a head, not including this deal here because that's not fair. He's about half a head taller than him, and I'm not sure where that should fall as far as scale goes, so I'm not going to complain or make any points about it, but that's him next to him. We'll get into a comparison of him with Tyrant when we do our Tyrant review, which should be coming up here shortly. Okay, so with all of that said and all of that done, I'm looking for a place to set my daggone Seeker down, and then we'll get into this transformation of this guy for everyone who needs to know. Put him to the side. Let's take this boat mode. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and push that back in, and it's forceful. You can put like a little bit of a lube on the inside of there, and that should loosen that up really nicely, and you won't have that problem anymore. Okay, so this guy is about all the tabbing. We're going to first take these guys off because they come off anyways. You don't have to do that. It's not in the instructions. That's what I'm doing because they get on my nerves. They pop out anyways. I'm going to close up all of your landing gear just like that. Separate it here at the forearms, and then fold them out because that's what's going to be coming anyways. And then we're going to go into the loosening of all the tabs under here because that's really the next big deal. So you're going to loosen these guys up here. Make sure we got the camera out good. Yeah. And this is kind of a bezo, but hey. And if you loosen all of this stuff up and get that pre-work done, it kind of makes everything else a walk in the park. So you bring those wings on up and out of the freaking way. Bring these on up. Separate what's going to become his calves like so, like that. And we're going to deal with the backpack wing deal first because that is the most irritating part of the whole transformation, and it is the most trouble. Let's go inside of here. Take this portion here and just fold that down like that. Same deal here. It's on a hinge here. It's on a hinge here. And it's also on a hinge here. But these are the two major parts you want to fold down. It kind of just sits inside of there just like that. All right. This portion here is kind of scary, but don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. It's on a double hinge here and here. Just kind of pop it on up. And then that puts that into place. Don't be afraid of it. Just do what you got to do. Oh, take this portion here, which is also on a hinge, and you're going to swivel that around like that. There we go. Now everything's coming together, right? Bring that on up like that. And then you have these portions here. Now, this thing here is kind of weird because it's on its own little hinge deal here. But, yeah, whatever. So that kind of sets it down like that there. Cool. Everything's coming together. Now, instinctually, you want to fold this in, right? And fold it away, but you can either choose to do that or not. I leave it out. But for this transformation, let's do it with it in and see what it looks like. You may like that. But if you fold it in, it kind of makes it stand off, and that's why you want to leave it out like that, right? You want to leave it out like that. But hey, whatever. Whatever, you might like it like that. I don't know. I don't care. So we come around here. We're going to leave the feet for last because those are the beast. With these straightened out, you can really just see the front, the torso, and the body just all coming together. And it's not really much to deal with after that. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much the max you have to deal with that. Bring this portion up here, swivel the head, and then if we can get some clearance here, spin this on around. You can also, I think I might have skipped a step, so you can push. I'm going to push that up just so I can get some clearance. Bring this on around, swivel this along with everything else. Close that back up. Yeah, and you don't have to do that. I just missed a step, so that's what I'm going to do to rectify that mistake that I made. Bring these pieces up and together and just fold those down like that. And then these pieces here, these little flaps will fold forward to make his butterfly collars, right? And then you can just slide that back down. And there you have that portion of transformation. Everything is done. Then the last thing you have to do is just open these up there and pop those hands out and spin them around. So for this guy, the transformation is not difficult at all. You really don't need directions to even figure it out as far as all of this goes. I mean, it's pretty dang on simple, right? And I kind of like that. They made it interesting enough, whereas you can get a little bit of enjoyment out of it, but it's not a total fucking pain in your ass right now. The real pain in your ass comes down here when it's time to deal with these calves and the feet. Okay, so what they tell you to do in the instructions is to bring these calf parts forward and then push the feet through, right? But there's just no clearance for it. I can't get it done. I've not been able to get it done. So what I do is this. Crap, I got toys falling everywhere, getting in my way. I got too much crap inside of my review area. I take a screwdriver and I bring those heel spurs all the way out. And it's going to be a little scary because this is on a hinge here and it's not connected on the other side. So you're worried about bending and breaking, but you don't have to worry about that, right? Take this portion, fold it back just about halfway. And then once you've done that, you can kind of manipulate, bring the toe all the way back, right? Then use the heel spur to push the foot through. And it's just, you gotta maneuver it. There's no other way around it. You gotta maneuver it. And then once you got it out enough, you can bring it all the way through and you can bring that foot out. Now, you do kind of have to go back and get that heel. And it's just irritating. This is the most irritating part of this whole transformation, bro. Right there. All right. I just call you bro. I just totally called you bro. So check that out. There we go. There you go. Now that foot is out. You can even use the rocker just to bring the foot out more. And you can bring that on out and around. All right. Once that's done, you can take this portion here, which is the calf. Wait, watch that. Watch out for that landing gear. And then you just close. Oh, sorry. Take this portion here. Fold that down. I mean, I'm cutting my fingers up on this thing. The plastic is sharp, my friends. Fold that on down, right? And then you can just bring all of that together. There you go, and it kind of clicks into place. So there we are with them all transformed up, right? All right, so a few things that I may have forgotten to mention is that you take this piece here and you fold those down, and that kind of allows this to sit in place. And then you want to take this back part and slide it up, and it'll snap into place once it's good to go. And these pieces here just kind of fit in there, right? There you go. So once it's all into place, the back should look like that, right? And that's your scourge there, and that kind of just pegs in to his palm here, and then you can just close up his hand. Now this finger actually does go on the trigger there, which is kind of dope. And there he goes. He's all into his scourge mode, holding his pistol. Now you can make him hold obviously his target master. I think the Target Master looks good in robot mode. I'm not really a big fan of the weapon mode, but he can hold it. Right, so there he is holding his Target Master. And okay, so here's the deal with this crap, man. If you never heard anyone else talk about it, you're gonna hear me talk about it because I never use these Target Masters in their weapon modes for the bot, except for on carry, and even then, not really, because the whole deal with them holding it is so fickle because you got to deal with the robot coming apart and all kinds of shit like that. It's just irritating, man. So I don't really get into that. I maybe for the weapon, maybe for the alt mode, where you plug it into the hood of the vehicle. But even then, I wouldn't do it then because it's so bulky. It looks kind of stupid. It's not terrible, but it just looks really ridiculous. The weapon itself as a weapon looks really ridiculous. So I would never, ever do that. But you may. So whatever makes you happy, hey, knock it out. So hey, this is Xtransbots Andras. How do I feel? What are my final thoughts on this figure? It's not as bad as everyone said it was. As a matter of fact, it's not bad at all. I mean, yeah, I've got to put some band-aids on my fingers and all of that stuff to make up for all of these cuts, right? But it's actually a pretty decent figure. Now, for that price point, yeah, Xtransbots, I think you're doing a money grab there. You need to bring that price point down because I think right around $100 will be fine for this guy. With where we are in MP third party pricing, I think $100 will be fine for this guy. Maybe 120, but anything over that, I think is a bit much because you still got to contend with taxes and shipping, which is not on them, but still, it's still something that goes into the price point. And I don't think that he's worth that. But he is a pretty decent figure. Now, having said that, I am still looking forward to the Fans Toys release of this guy. I do plan on getting the Fans Toys release of this guy, in which case these will just become, the trackers, hunters, whatever, the background guys, army building, and the Fans Toys, which will undoubtedly be better, right? That one, I'm hoping will have a good face sculpt and he can make, the Scourge the leader, So these guys can be the sweeps and then Scourge Fans Toys will be the tracker, right? But, hey, this is Andras. I am Brave's Toy Review. For this and more hot-ass plastic, go to thechosenprime.com and don't forget to check out the Primes Council, which is their Facebook group where you can buy, sell, trade, and just interact with other Chosen Prime family there. So, hey, I am Brave. This is Brave's Toy Review. I've been mumbling for a while. Let's get out of here.